Stop right here. This is not just another video. This is me reaching for you. You've been carrying things no one sees, fighting battles in silence. And just when you were about to give up, I brought you here. This is not random. This is a rescue. Because what I'm about to say will shift something deep inside you. If you don't scroll past it, stay. Because if you do, you'll finally understand why nothing else has filled the emptiness, and why I won't let you go. I've waited for this moment, and I'm not letting you leave unchanged. You may have wondered if I only watch you from above, if I only listen from a distance. But I am telling you, with truth that cannot be shaken, I am standing right here in this very room, next to you, in front of you, beside you, behind you, filling every empty space with myself. I am not here to simply observe. I am here to intervene, to shift, to change what has been pressing against you for too long. There is no locked door that keeps me out, no darkness thick enough to hide you from me. I have stepped into the atmosphere you are breathing, not just to comfort you, but to rearrange the weight you have been carrying until it no longer crushes you. Right now, while you are reading these words, I am leaning close enough that if you still your racing thoughts, you will sense the warmth of my nearness wrapping around you like a covering. I have not come because you have called me perfectly. I have come because I have seen the silent calling of your heart that your lips never spoke. I am in the same room as you because I could not stay away. Not when I see how tired you are. Not when I see how much you've been holding back tears in front of others. Not when I see the way you have been fighting battles with a smile on your face while your soul feels worn thin. My child, I am telling you with urgency, you do not need to pretend with me, because I already know the truth beneath every mask. Even now, I am moving closer into the very center of your pain, your questions, your fears, because I will not stand at the edges of your life when I am needed at the center. The same God who spoke creation into existence is right here, listening to the unspoken words of your heartbeat. There is no gap between us in this moment. There is no separation that your mistakes, your past, or your failures can create that is strong enough to push me away. You may feel like you have been sitting in stillness for too long, waiting for something to shift. But I am here to tell you the shift has already begun, because my presence has entered the room. And when I enter, nothing stays the same. Atmospheres change, weights lift. The unseen chains the enemy tried to bind you with begin to loosen and fall, even if you don't yet feel them drop. Right now, there are battles you've been fighting that are being won in the spiritual realm simply because I am here, because my presence is a weapon against every darkness that has tried to surround you. My nearness is not just a feeling. It is the breakthrough you have been waiting for, and I need you to know it before the enemy tries to convince you otherwise. So pay attention, my child. Look around not with your physical eyes, but with your spirit, and you will sense that you are not alone. You have not been abandoned, you have not been forgotten, and you have not been overlooked. You are fully seen, fully known, and right now, fully surrounded by me. I have entered the room to stay, not to visit. And my staying means your story is about to turn in a way you didn't see coming. This is why I need you to open your heart immediately, because I am here and I am not letting go. And because I am here, right where you are, I have not only watched, but have taken note of every tear that has fallen without anyone else seeing. My beloved, there has not been a single sigh, a single breath heavy with disappointment that has escaped my attention. Even in those moments when you thought no one could possibly understand the heaviness pressing against you, I was already leaning in, counting each tear as if it were a precious jewel in my hands. I did not simply glance at you in passing. I have studied every expression, every tightening of your chest, every time you turned away so no one could see your eyes welling up. You think some of those moments were too small for me to notice, but I tell you now, they were not small to me. I felt them as though they were my own, and in those very seconds, I moved closer without you realizing. I have not been a silent observer of your pain. I have been a witness who loves too deeply to stand still while you struggle. I have been in this very space with you, not waiting for you to come to me, but coming to you, knowing you might feel too weary to even take that first step toward me. There is an urgency in my heart for you to understand this now. Your tears are not wasted, not forgotten, not ignored. They are stored in a place where they will one day be exchanged for joy you cannot yet imagine. Even the cries you never allowed to leave your lips have reached my ears louder than any shout could. I am not like those who pass by when someone is hurting. I remain until the hurting stops, and then I remain still, because my love does not walk away when the storm is over. Every sleepless night I was there, watching you try to quiet your thoughts, feeling the ache of questions without answers, sensing the weight of responsibilities pressing harder than your strength seemed able to hold. My presence in those moments was not distant. It was so close that, if you could have seen into the unseen, you would have known you were never alone for even a heartbeat. I have seen you force yourself to stand and keep going when your soul was crying out for rest. I have seen you speak encouragement to others while you yourself were desperate for someone to speak the same words to you. I have seen the way you try to hide your pain so others will not feel burdened. But child, I do not see your pain as a burden. I see it as the very reason I am here in the same room, to bear it with you. You do not have to filter your emotions with me. You do not have to hide the trembling in your hands or the weakness in your voice. I am not here to judge you for struggling. I am here to hold you steady until the struggle loses its grip. Every tear you have shed has been an unspoken prayer, and every one has been answered in ways you have yet to see. Do not think I have been silent because I did not care. Sometimes my silence has been the blanket of peace that kept you from being overwhelmed when the storm raged loudest. I have been speaking to you in ways you did not realize, through moments of unexpected relief, through that one song you heard at the right time, through the sudden calm that came without explanation. I have not missed a single moment of your journey, and I have not been waiting for you to be better before I draw near. No, I draw near when you are at your lowest, because I know that is when you most need to be reminded of who is holding you. My child, the tears that have marked your nights are about to give way to mornings where the first thing you feel will not be dread, but hope. The same God who stood here while you wept will stand here when you laugh again. And I will not leave in between. I will walk you from one to the other, step by step, breath by breath, until the weight of sorrow is replaced by the fullness of my joy. And as I remain here with you, my child, I am not unaware of the pressure that has been pushing against your heart and mind. I have felt every ounce of it as if it were pressing upon me directly, for nothing that touches you is ever distant from me. You may have believed you were carrying these loads alone, dragging yourself through days that feel heavier than your body can bear. But I have been under that same weight with you, lifting in ways you could not see. The very thoughts that swirl in your mind at night, the ones you try to silence, have not been ignored by me. I have entered into them, not to condemn you for feeling overwhelmed, but to share the strain until you are no longer bowed beneath it. I have been in the tension of those moments when the responsibilities piled higher than your energy, and I have placed my own strength underneath yours so you would not collapse entirely. You have thought at times that you were one breath away from giving up, Yet somehow you found yourself taking another step, speaking another word, showing up again. That somehow was me holding you steady when your legs felt like they could not move forward. Every unspoken fear, every weight of expectation, every layer of worry about tomorrow's unknowns, I have gathered them, felt them, and chosen not to leave you beneath them. Even the burdens you picked up because of others, the ones you took on without complaint, I have seen. I have felt the strain in your soul when you gave your time, your energy, and your heart, even when you had little left for yourself. I have not once turned away from you in those moments. My hands have been stretched beneath your load, taking the crushing force into myself. When you were too exhausted to notice, I was still shouldering the unseen heaviness that the enemy hoped would break you. There are things you have carried for years, weights from past seasons that you thought had become part of who you are. But I tell you, they were never meant to be yours permanently. I am here, in this very moment, to begin loosening your grip on those old weights, one by one, until your arms and your heart are free to lift toward me again without strain. I am not asking you to figure out how to let go by yourself. I am offering to lift it with my own strength. Even now, as you are reading these words, I am pressing against that heaviness in a way you can't fully understand yet, shifting it so that it no longer crushes your spirit. The enemy has tried to convince you that you must hold it all together or everything will fall apart. But I tell you the truth, when you release it to me, nothing will fall apart that was ever meant to stand. I have felt the ache of your shoulders, the fatigue of your spirit, the quiet resignation you've carried in places where you stopped expecting relief. But relief is here, not as a temporary escape, but as a permanent exchange. I do not want you weighed down by what I died to remove. My nearness is not just for comfort, it is for transfer. Every burden you keep clutching because you're afraid no one else will hold it right, I am asking you to hand to me now, because I will never drop what you entrust to my care. This is not a request for later. It is an urgent call for now. You have been carrying what was never meant to belong on your shoulders, and it has slowed the pace of your steps, clouded the clarity of your vision, and dimmed the light in your eyes. But here, in this room with me, this close, you can release it. I will not only carry it, I will crush the power it had over you, so it will never weigh you down again. And in the midst of that crushing weight, while you wondered if anyone could truly perceive what was unfolding inside you, there was an unseen war over your heart that I have been watching from the very beginning. The adversary has whispered in moments of weakness, telling you that your struggle is invisible, that your quiet tears and silent endurance have gone unnoticed, that you have been left to fend for yourself. He has tried to make you believe that even I have turned my face away, that your pain is too small for heaven to care about, or too complicated for me to intervene. But I tell you now, none of that deception holds a shred of truth. I have been here, not at a distance, not merely observing, but present in the very atmosphere where your battles have raged. Every unseen clash in your thoughts, every invisible war in your emotions, every moment you fought to keep going, while no one around you knew the cost. I have seen it all with perfect clarity. There is no hidden place in your life where my vision cannot reach. I have looked upon you in those moments when you shut your eyes tightly at night, trying to block out memories or fears, and I have been nearer than the darkness surrounding you. I have stood watch while the forces of discouragement circled, ensuring they could not crush your spirit beyond repair. Even when you felt surrounded, I was standing as the wall between you and total collapse. You thought the silence meant abandonment, but it was the quiet strength of my shield holding back the worst of what was meant to destroy you. The enemy has invested much in convincing you that your hardships are unseen, because he knows the moment you realize you are fully known and fully protected, his power over you weakens. So I speak now to strip away that lie forever. You have never fought a battle without me standing in it with you. I have traced every moment of your journey, every subtle shift in your heart, every thought you dared not say aloud. I have understood the reasons for your hesitation, the cause of your trembling, the source of your deep weariness, and I have not looked away, not for a breath. When you felt like no one could possibly comprehend the cost of the fight you've been in, I was the one who understood it better than you did yourself. The hidden battles are the ones that matter most to me, because they reveal where your heart leans in the darkness. And I have watched yours lean toward hope, even when hope felt far away. I have watched you resist giving in completely to despair, even when the temptation was strong. I have seen you take small steps when everything in you wanted to stop walking entirely. Those moments did not vanish into nothing. They are the very victories I celebrate over you. My presence in your battles has not been passive. I have been contending for you in ways you could not see, disarming attacks before they reached you, redirecting outcomes the enemy thought he had secured. While he tried to persuade you that you were alone, I was placing reinforcements in your path, conversations that lifted you unexpectedly, moments where peace washed over you without warning, situations that shifted just in time to protect you. I have been your advocate, your defender, your constant companion in the fight, and I will not leave you now. The hidden battles will not remain hidden forever. I will cause the victories to become visible, and the strength you have gained through them will speak louder than the pain ever did. My child, the truth is this: you have never been unseen, you have never been misunderstood, and you have never fought alone, not for a moment. And because I have never been content to watch you struggle from afar, I have entered into the same environment that surrounds you now. I am not an absent figure watching from some unreachable height. I am within arm's reach, closer than the walls enclosing this place. My nearness is not symbolic. It is tangible, real, and active. I have positioned myself so that nothing can intercept my attention toward you, so that every sound of your voice, every shift in your thoughts, and every flicker of emotion on your face is known instantly to me. I did not come here merely to witness. I came to participate in what you are walking through. I am sharing the air you breathe, the floor you stand upon, the silence you hear in the background. My presence here is deliberate. It is my declaration that you will not navigate this season unsupported. I have stepped into the atmosphere of your present reality to make sure you do not misinterpret the quiet as neglect or the stillness as absence. When others keep their distance because they do not know what to say or how to help, I am moving closer because I am not limited by uncertainty. I am fully aware of every detail and still choose to stand beside you, unflinching and unwavering. My being here is not the result of you reaching high enough or performing well enough. It is the result of my relentless love refusing to leave you isolated. You may have thought that my work was happening somewhere beyond your view, far away in some spiritual realm. But right now, in this exact location, I am here. I am not distracted by the needs of the world in such a way that you are lost in the crowd. My focus on you is absolute. I am positioned in the middle of your reality to remind you that my power does not only work in the extraordinary, it works in the ordinary, in the familiar, in the very room where you may have felt stuck. I am here to shift what has felt stagnant, to bring movement where there has been delay, to bring clarity where there has been fog. I have chosen to stand by you, not as a passive companion, but as one who acts, who shields, who strengthens. My nearness means that when the next wave of fear tries to rise, it will crash against the barrier of my presence before it can reach you. My nearness means that when loneliness tries to whisper again, it will find no place to settle, because you will know you are not abandoned. My nearness means that when the weight tries to press down harder, it will encounter my strength holding you upright. I have stepped into this space to be more than a reminder. I have come to be the living proof that you are not forsaken. I am here in the middle of your unanswered questions, not waiting for them to resolve before I draw near. I am here in the middle of your unfinished story, not waiting for the ending to be written before I stand beside you. I am here in the middle of the fight, not arriving after it is over to congratulate you, but remaining here to fight alongside you until the tide turns. My child, my arrival in your space changes the terms of the battle, because where I stand, victory begins to take root, and I have chosen to stand here, right now with you. Even in those hours when you convinced yourself that no one was truly aware of what you were going through, my gaze never wavered. Not for a second have I shifted my focus from you. I have looked upon you with the deepest affection and unwavering, unblinking love that cannot be diluted by time, distance, or circumstance. While people came and went, while some turned away or became too caught up in their own lives to notice your quiet cries for help, I remained. I stayed in place, keeping you before me as if you were the only one in existence. My love is not distracted, not partial, not conditional. It is steady, constant, and fully engaged with you. I have been aware of your movements, your pauses, the moments you sat in stillness, wondering if anyone remembered you. I saw the hesitation in your steps when you felt like your presence made no difference, when you questioned whether your absence would even be noticed. I saw the flicker of doubt in your eyes when you wondered if your life mattered as much as I have always said it does. The truth is, my beloved, you have never been invisible to me. While others passed by unaware, I was standing near, taking in every detail of your heart. I was there when you gave kindness without receiving any in return. I was there when you poured yourself into helping others and then found no one reaching for you when your own strength ran low. I was there when you looked for affirmation only to be met with silence. In those moments, the enemy tried to plant seeds of worthlessness, whispering that you were easily replaced, easily ignored. But I was already speaking a stronger truth over you. I have been calling you chosen, treasured, irreplaceable. Even while those lies were echoing in your mind, my eyes have not wandered. They have followed you into every season, into every place, into every high and every low. When you lay awake, staring into the darkness, thinking no one was thinking of you, I was watching over you like a guardian who refuses to leave their post. I was studying the details of your life, not to find fault, but to keep record of every moment I would turn into a testimony. And even when you could not feel it, my love was wrapping around you like a shield, keeping your spirit from breaking entirely. Others might overlook what they do not understand, but I understand you completely, and I still choose you endlessly. You have never been a background thought to me. You have always been front and center in my heart. My attention toward you is not based on what you achieve, how loudly you call my name, or how perfectly you walk the path. It is rooted in who you are to me, mine. That is why I cannot and will not take my eyes off you. When you walk into uncertain places, I am scanning ahead to ensure your steps are secure. When you sit in moments of stillness, I am watching over you to guard against unseen harm. When you move forward, unsure of what's next, I am observing every shift in your journey, ready to step in at the exact moment you need me most. You have been overlooked by some, but you have never been out of sight to me. My love does not lose interest. It is not fickle. I have remained locked on you through the seasons when you felt celebrated and through the seasons when you felt forgotten. My gaze has not moved away for a single heartbeat. This is why you can walk forward now with confidence. Not because everyone will always see you, but because I always will. While you wrestled with the silence, wondering if your cries had dissolved into emptiness, I was already setting in motion the responses you longed for. Not a single request from your heart has gone unheard. None have been misplaced or lost in the noise of the world. I have gathered each one and held it in my hands, weighing not just the words you spoke, but the depth behind them, the ache that gave birth to them, the longing that shaped them. You may have assumed that my lack of immediate action meant indifference, but the truth is entirely different. I have been crafting the answers in ways you could not yet perceive. There are threads of your life that had to be aligned first, paths that needed to be cleared, doors that needed to be constructed before they could be opened. I do not release a promise before the ground can hold its weight, because I refuse to let your blessing arrive in soil unprepared to sustain it. Every seeming delay has been a layer of protection, shielding you from receiving something too soon before it could truly flourish in your life. Even when impatience tugged at you, even when you asked me why nothing seemed to shift, I was in the unseen spaces, working, moving, positioning what was necessary, so the answer would not only come, but remain. I have been weaving together people, circumstances, and resources in ways so intricate that when you finally see it unfold, you will know without a doubt it was my hand alone. There were times you prayed for relief, and I gave you endurance first. Times you prayed for provision, and I gave you wisdom to steward what you already held. Times you prayed for change, and I strengthened your foundation so you could stand firm once it came. I am not slow, as some define slowness. I am precise. I act in the moment that carries the greatest fruit, the deepest impact, and the fullest joy for you. While you have been living one day at a time, I have been holding the entire picture, ensuring each part fits together in a way that will one day leave you breathless with gratitude. You have thought at moments that your prayers faded into nothingness, but they have been echoing in my presence continually, and I have answered some of them in ways you have not even recognized yet. I have spared you from things you asked for that would have harmed you more than helped you. I have upgraded the requests you made, giving you more than you knew to ask for. And even now, there are petitions you whispered long ago that are in the final stages of arrival. This is why I need you to understand that the waiting was not wasted. The timing you questioned was the very thing ensuring the blessing would not become a burden. When it comes, you will not have to fight to keep it. You will not fear losing it, because it will be planted in a moment I have prepared to sustain it. My arrangements are never haphazard. They are deliberate, strategic, born from love that sees the end from the beginning. You will see soon how the years that felt like silence were actually years of construction. Years where I built unseen foundations under the surface of your life, so that when the answer rises, it will not topple under pressure. My child, I have been listening all along, and I am not only bringing what you prayed for, I am bringing it better than you imagined, stronger than you hoped, and at the exact moment when it will lift you higher instead of weighing you down. The stillness you endured, the long stretches where it seemed like heaven had gone quiet, were not moments of abandonment. They were the sacred intervals where I was shaping the space for this encounter. You saw it as emptiness, but I saw it as the clearing away of noise, so my words could land without interference. I have not been absent from your life, for even a breath. I have been deeply involved, yet speaking in ways beyond sound, letting the quiet teach you to recognize my presence without needing constant confirmation. Silence can feel heavy when you do not know what it is carrying. And I know there were nights you wished for even the smallest sign. But if I had filled every moment with answers, you would not have learned how to stand still and feel the weight of my nearness in ways that go beyond what ears can hear. I have been teaching you to sense me in the subtle shifts, to notice my hand in the ordinary, to trust me even when the skies above you felt sealed. The quiet was not neglect. It was the deep work of preparation, arranging not just the outcome you prayed for, but also preparing your heart to receive it without fear, without doubt. While you wondered why I wasn't speaking, I was writing the very words you are reading now, setting the stage so that when I did speak, it would pierce through every layer of uncertainty and touch the very core of your being. My voice is not like the clamor of the world. It requires space to be heard. And so I allowed moments where distractions faded, where familiar sounds no longer filled the room, so that when I broke that silence, you would know without question it was me. In those seasons when you begged for immediate direction and received no reply, I was shaping your trust, rooting it deeper so it would hold steady when the storms came. I was working in the unseen, positioning you so that when my words arrived, they would align perfectly with the shift I had orchestrated in your life. And now here I am, breaking through what felt like an endless hush, speaking in a way that could only come from this place of stillness. Every day of quiet you endured has brought you to this precise moment where my voice meets your readiness. If I had spoken earlier, you might have heard but not understood. Now you will not only hear, you will carry these words with you and act upon them. I allowed the silence so you would learn that my presence is not dependent on sound, that my activity is not dependent on visible signs. Even when you felt nothing, I was moving. Even when you saw no change, I was building. The pause was never punishment. It was the deep inhale before the exhale of promise. And now that breath is releasing, the words you've been waiting for are flowing because the time to hold them has come. I am speaking into places that have been waiting to be filled, and you will notice how they settle into your spirit as if they were meant to live there all along. Because they were. The silence was the soil, and this moment is the seed being planted in it. From here, you will see growth. You will see clarity. You will see why the waiting was necessary. My beloved, you have mistaken my quiet for distance, but now you see it was the preparation for this very moment when my voice would reach you without anything standing in the way. Even as you went about your days, unaware of the unseen currents around you, I was already standing between you and what would have harmed you. There have been threats you could not detect, moments when destruction was set in motion against you, yet I moved quietly, intercepting them before they could reach your life. You saw an inconvenience, a delay, or an unexpected change in plans, but I saw an oncoming wave meant to knock you down, and I redirected your path so it passed harmlessly by. You have thought some interruptions were simply bad timing, but many were my hand pulling you out of harm's reach. There were meetings you didn't attend, calls you didn't answer, opportunities you thought you missed, all of which were veiled shields keeping you from traps laid in your way. I have stood at the edges of your journey like a watchman who never sleeps, monitoring what approaches from every direction, ensuring that nothing bypasses my guard without my permission. While you rested, I was awake. While you worried about visible problems, I was handling the invisible ones. There are battles you never had to fight because I fought them before they could find you. There were accidents avoided because I placed you a step behind or a step ahead of the moment they unfolded. There were words meant to wound you that never reached your ears because I silenced them at their source. And though you may never know the full count of what I have spared you from, know this: nothing has touched you without first passing through my protection. Some of the no's you received were not rejection. They were redirection away from danger. Some of the endings you mourned were not loss. They were deliverance from what would have drained your spirit. I have deflected arrows before they left the bow, dissolved storms before the clouds formed, dismantled schemes before they could be set in motion. You wonder why I sometimes move in ways that make no sense in the moment. And it is because I see further, wider, and deeper than you can imagine. My guarding hand does not only respond when danger is near, it is active at all times, creating a safe path for you before your feet touch the ground. There have been people who entered your life for only a short season, and you wondered why they were gone so quickly. In truth, I removed them because their presence would have brought harm. There have been roads you longed to walk but found closed. I closed them because they would have led you into traps you could not see. Every act of my protection, whether you recognized it or not, was motivated by love that will not risk your future for temporary comfort. You will come to realize, in moments of reflection, that much of the peace you have now is the result of dangers I dealt with before they reached you. I have not guarded you halfway. My protection has been complete, surrounding you from above, beneath, and all sides. Even now, as you read these words, I am blocking things set against you for tomorrow, next week, and years ahead. My protection is not seasonal. It is constant. My commitment to keep you safe is unshaken. The enemy has tried to find openings. My covering has remained unbroken. And when I allow a challenge through, it is only because I have already given you the victory over it. My beloved, you have been spared more times than you will ever know, not because you were lucky, but because you are mine, and I will always be your refuge. Even as you sit in this moment, the very space surrounding you is being transformed. What was heavy is beginning to lift. What felt stagnant is beginning to stir. And what seemed impossible is starting to take shape. My presence does not enter an environment and leave it unchanged. It alters the very foundation of what is happening there. I move into a place and the unseen begins to respond. Burdens start loosening, confusion begins to clear, hopelessness loses its grip. Right now there is a rearranging happening in the unseen realm because I have stepped into the fullness of this moment with you. The atmosphere is not shifting because circumstances have visibly changed. It is shifting because I am here. And when I am here, the conditions for breakthrough are set in motion. You may not hear the sound of chains falling or walls breaking, but in the spiritual realm, those very things are happening. What once pressed against you with relentless weight is already weakening under the power of my nearness. Darkness cannot stand in the same space where I dwell. It must retreat. It must scatter. The shadows that tried to surround your mind are losing their hold. Even if you cannot yet see the light with your physical eyes, this is not imagination. This is reality. My presence carries authority that nothing can override. I touch despair and it turns into hope. I breathe over fear and it dissolves into peace. I lay my hand on weariness, and it is replaced with strength that does not come from human effort. This is happening now as my words reach you. Not later, not eventually, but in this very moment. The air around you is becoming charged with expectation because creation itself responds to my presence. The very molecules shift when I step in, aligning with my will and my purposes. This is why I told you I am in the same room as you. It is not to comfort you with an idea. It is to alert you to the reality that your environment is no longer the same. You are sitting in a space of divine activity, Angels are moving on assignments connected to you. Doors are being positioned to open at the exact moment you approach. Obstacles that have stood unmoved for years are beginning to crack under the weight of my authority. The heaviness that sat in your chest is loosening. The knots in your thoughts are beginning to untangle. You will feel clarity begin to form in the places that have been clouded. You will notice peace settling where anxiety once reigned. This is not because you have figured everything out. It is because I am here, and my presence is doing what you could never force into being. The shift is not dependent on your strength or your understanding. It is dependent on me, and I am faithful to complete what I begin. Every place I touch carries the evidence of my kingdom: freedom, restoration, renewal. You are in that place now. Let this truth settle in your heart. You are not waiting for the shift to start. It has already begun. And as it continues, you will watch the outward align with what I am doing inward. The atmosphere has changed because I have claimed it. And once I claim a space, no darkness has the right to reclaim it. Even now, as my presence fills this space, the grip of despair that has been wrapping itself around your heart is losing its strength, is lingered for too long, whispering lies about your future, cutting your vision and making you feel as though there was nothing worth holding on for. But my light does not simply shine over you. It pierces through every layer of darkness that has been built up inside you. What seemed unshakable is crumbling. What felt permanent is dissolving in the warmth of my truth. Hopelessness thrives in shadow, in the corners where fear hides and doubt grows. But it cannot survive when my light floods in, and that is what is happening right now. I am flooding the very depths of you with illumination that leaves no hiding place for the thoughts that have weighed you down. You may have felt trapped in a cycle, reliving the same pains, believing the same lies over and over, but my light is breaking that pattern in this moment. I am exposing every root of discouragement, every seed of defeat, every voice that has told you it will always be this way. I am not simply pushing it back. I am dismantling it completely so it cannot rebuild. My light is not like any other. It carries life within it. As it enters, it begins to restore what hopelessness has drained from you. Strength begins to return where weariness has ruled. Clarity begins to form where confusion has tangled your thoughts. Courage begins to grow where fear once silenced you. My light reveals the truth, that your story is not over, that your steps are still ordered, and that I have plans for you that cannot be canceled by the battles you faced. This hopelessness was never part of my design for you. It was an intruder, and I am casting it out. I am speaking into those deep places of your soul that you haven't even shared with anyone. The quiet disappointments, the silent prayers that ended with tears, the questions you've been too weary to ask. I see them all, and my light answers them not with explanations alone, but with assurance. You don't need to understand every detail to know that change is already happening. You can feel it because the heaviness is lifting. Where you once felt suffocated by the weight of what seemed impossible, you will now feel the freedom to breathe again. I am replacing the emptiness with hope that is alive, hope that does not fade when challenges come. This is not wishful thinking. It is anchored in my unchanging nature, in the certainty that I do what I say I will do. The hopelessness that has spoken so loudly in your mind will be silenced, and in its place my promises will take root. They will grow stronger with each passing day. Nourished by the light I have poured into you now, you will no longer walk as one waiting for things to get worse. You will move forward, knowing that I am leading you toward greater things than you have yet seen. My child, this breaking apart of hopelessness is not temporary. It is the beginning of a permanent shift. Even if the enemy tries to return with the same lies, My light will meet him at the door and drive him away. You are stepping into a new reality where you no longer live under the shadow of despair, but walk in the brightness of my presence, where hope is not fragile, but strong, alive, and unshakable. Right now, in this very moment, I am releasing into you a fresh surge of vitality that is unlike anything you could create on your own. For too long, discouragement has been acting like a slow leak in your spirit, quietly taking from you the energy, the passion, and the determination that once flowed so freely. You may not have noticed how much it had taken until you found yourself to do what once felt effortless. But I have not only noticed, I have been waiting for this moment to fill you again from the inside out. I am not giving you a fragile spark that will flicker out with the first gust of resistance. I am imparting endurance that will stand strong against every storm. Where heaviness has sat like a weight upon your shoulders, I am lifting it and replacing it with a power that will carry you through what is ahead. This strength is not simply physical. It reaches your thoughts, your emotions, your will. It steadies your mind so that it is no longer tossed around by uncertainty. It steadies your heart so that it beats with confidence in what I have spoken over your life. I am repairing the places that constant weariness has worn thin, patching the cracks that have formed under the strain of repeated disappointments. I am doing more than giving you enough to survive the day. I am equipping you to rise above it. You will find yourself able to face situations that once intimidated you without the same fear that used to hold you back. You will notice decisions becoming easier to make because you are no longer weighed down by confusion or drained by doubt. The breath of my spirit is flowing through you like fresh wind into sails that had been hanging limp, and it will propel you forward into the waters I have prepared for you. This is not a one-time renewal. It is the beginning of a continual flow. As you stay near me, you will find that what I pour into you will never run dry again, no matter how much the world tries to take from you. Discouragement has been a thief, taking pieces of your joy, your focus, your courage. But I am not only giving them back, I am multiplying them. You will stand taller in the days to come, not because the challenges have vanished, but because the strength within you will be greater than anything pressing from the outside. My breath in you will awaken gifts that have been dormant, revive dreams that have been gathering dust, and ignite hope where it had grown cold. And you will know this is me because the shift will be deeper than any motivational words or temporary excitement. It will be a sustaining force that keeps you steady even when the winds rise. My child, I am not just restoring what was lost. I am building something stronger in its place. You will no longer move through life half empty, waiting for the next blow to knock you down. You will move forward filled, ready, and confident, knowing that I am the one sustaining you. The discouragement that once drained you will no longer have access to your strength because it will be protected by my presence living within you. I am breathing into you now, and with every breath comes renewal, resilience, and a readiness for the next chapter I am unfolding in your life. The restraints that have been tightening around your mind and heart, keeping you from stepping fully into what I've placed before you, are breaking in this very moment. Fear has been whispering threats, painting pictures of failure, convincing you to hesitate rather than advance. Doubt has been planting questions in your mind, making you second-guess what you have heard from me and what you know deep within your spirit to be true. These chains have not only slowed your steps, they have weighed down your thoughts, bending your posture and making it hard for you to see beyond the immediate. But my presence has entered, and nothing that binds you can remain intact under the force of my authority. I am not merely loosening these restraints, I am shattering them, so they can never be fastened on you again. Every link forged by past wounds, every clasp tightened by lies you believe about yourself, is being dismantled right now. You will feel it first in your mind, the clarity returning, the fog lifting, the anxious noise quieting until peace becomes your new normal. Then you will notice it in your heart, courage beginning to rise where hesitation once lived, confidence taking root where insecurity had been allowed to grow. This is the work of my Spirit, freeing you from the grip of what was never meant to control you. Fear has tried to chain you to past experiences, convincing you that what happened before will happen again. Doubt has tried to keep you from trusting my voice, suggesting that perhaps you misunderstood or that I would not come through for you. But neither fear nor doubt has the final say over your life. I do. I am declaring over you now that you are no longer bound. You will not wake tomorrow carrying the same invisible weight you carried yesterday. You will walk lighter, think clearer, and move forward without the constant pull backward. What once felt like an unbreakable cycle will be revealed as powerless against the freedom I am giving you. These chains have been forged in darkness, but they cannot withstand the light I have brought into this moment. I am not asking you to fight for your release in your own strength. I have already won it for you. Your role now is simply to step forward into the space I have cleared. Every step you take away from the old patterns will strengthen the truth in you that those bonds are gone. The enemy will attempt to remind you of them, to make you think they are still there. But the sound you will hear is not the clinking of chains. It is the echo of their fall to the ground. And with every echo, you will remember that you are free. My beloved, freedom is not just the absence of restraint. It is the ability to live fully without looking over your shoulder. It is what I am giving you now. The freedom to speak without fear of being silenced, to believe without the shadow of constant doubt, to move without wondering if you will fail. I am clothing you in strength and courage, not as an idea but as a reality that will define your steps from this moment forward. You will no longer shrink back from opportunities because of what-ifs or hold your voice because of imagined rejection. The things that once held you in place have lost their grip completely. Step forward now, because the chains are gone and nothing is holding you anymore. There are places within you that no one else has ever truly seen. Places you've guarded carefully, covering them with a smile or with silence so no one would notice the ache they carry. These wounds are not fresh, yet they have never fully closed. They have lived beneath the surface, influencing your thoughts, your choices, even the way you see yourself. You have learned how to function around them, how to move forward while still carrying them. But I never intended for you to live with pain buried beneath your steps. I am moving into those very chambers now, not to expose you to shame, but to free you from the quiet suffering you have endured. I am touching memories you've tried to forget, not to bring back the hurt, but to lift it out completely. The parts of you that have been tender for years, where even the slightest reminder stirs an ache, are in my hands at this very moment. You do not need to hide them from me. I already know every detail. And still, my response is not condemnation, but compassion. I am not here to reopen old wounds just to leave them raw. I am here to cleanse them, to pour my love into them until they no longer bleed when touched. You have carried rejection that made you question your worth, betrayal that made it hard to trust, loss that left you with a hollow space you didn't know how to fill. These have been the unspoken burdens, the silent reasons behind the way you protect yourself from others. But I am the one who can step into those guarded rooms and bring light without causing harm. My healing is not shallow. It does not skim over the surface and call it done. I go to the roots, to the exact place where the pain first entered, and I begin to remove its hold on you. That is what I am doing now. The heaviness you have felt for so long will not be part of your future. I am replacing it with wholeness. Wholeness that will allow you to look back without flinching, to speak of the past without feeling the same sting, to move into new relationships without carrying the weight of old disappointments. The healing I give is not temporary relief. It is restoration so complete that you will forget what it felt like to live under that shadow. I know you have wondered if these places in you could ever truly be whole again. You've questioned if some pain is simply permanent. But I am here to tell you that nothing is too deep for me to reach. Nothing is too old for me to renew. Even if it has been decades since the wound first formed, I can restore it as if it never happened. And when I heal, I leave no scar that defines you, only a testimony of what I have done. You will walk lighter because of this moment. You will speak with greater freedom because you will no longer be guarding yourself against unseen triggers. My beloved, I am not just making you feel better, I am making you whole. From this moment forward, the hidden pain that has quietly influenced so many parts of your life will no longer be your companion. My love is filling every empty space it left behind, and that love will remain as a constant reminder that you are safe, you are seen, and you are fully healed in my presence. For far too long, deceptive voices have tried to shape the way you see yourself, your future, and even how you think I see you. Those lies have been subtle at times, woven into your thoughts so quietly that you began to mistake them for your own reasoning. They told you that you were not enough, that you had failed too many times, that you were somehow disqualified from the good I had planned for you. They whispered that others were more worthy, more capable, more loved, leaving you to carry an unspoken sense of inferiority. These falsehoods have been like invisible chains, limiting the way you dream, speak, and act. But right now, in my presence, those lies are being stripped away one after another and replaced with truths that carry my authority and cannot be shaken. I am speaking directly into the places where deception once had influence, flooding them with light that makes the falsehoods powerless. When I speak, it is not empty reassurance, it is reality, and reality overrides the distortions you have believed. Where you once heard you are alone, you will now hear me saying, I have never left your side. Where you once heard you are a burden, you will hear, you are a blessing I delight in. Where you once heard you will always struggle, you will hear, I am leading you into freedom and victory. This exchange is not a momentary encouragement. It is a permanent shift in your identity and perspective. Lies can only survive where they are hidden in darkness, but I am pulling them into the open, where they cannot survive the truth. Some of these untruths have been with you for years, spoken through the voices of others or formed in moments of disappointment, but they will not survive this encounter. I am replacing them with declarations that carry life and strength. These truths are not based on how you feel in this moment. They are anchored in who I am and what I have already spoken over you since before you took your first breath. As these truths take root, you will notice your steps growing bolder, your prayers becoming more confident, your outlook shifting from resignation to expectation. The enemy has tried to build his lies into the very structure of your thinking, but I am tearing down those walls and building something new, something unshakable. You will no longer view your life through the distorted lens he handed you. You will see through the clarity of my word. The freedom you are stepping into now is not just the absence of bondage. It is the joy of living in alignment with what I say is real. You will carry this truth into every decision, every relationship, every challenge, and it will keep you steady no matter what comes. My beloved, You were never created to live in the shadow of lies. You were created to live in the brilliance of truth. And that is what I am giving you now. Truth that does not change with opinion. Truth that is not altered by circumstances. Truth that remains the same, yesterday, today, and forever. From this moment, you will walk as one who knows who they are, whose they are, and what they are capable of because of me. The voice of deception will no longer define your steps, because the voice of truth has claimed its place in your heart. I need you to hear this with a clarity that cuts through every layer of confusion the world has placed on you. Your identity has never been defined by failure, rejection, or the shifting opinions of people. From the very beginning, before you took your first breath, I called you mine. You were set apart with intention, marked with purpose, and wrapped in a love that does not fluctuate with seasons or circumstances. You are not a random existence or an afterthought. You are the result of deliberate design, crafted with care that no human mind can fully comprehend. There have been moments when the labels given to you by others, or even by your own self-criticism, felt more real than my promises. But those labels are false. They cannot override what I have already declared about you. I call you chosen, and that means you were specifically picked, not overlooked or left to chance. I call you loved, and that means my affection toward you is not based on your performance or perfection. It is anchored in who I am, and I do not change. I call you never abandoned, and that means there has never been a single step you have taken that I did not take with you. Even in the chapters where you felt most alone, I was there, holding you steady when you didn't realize it was my hand. I know there have been seasons when your reflection in the mirror did not match the worth I see in you. Times when exhaustion, grief, or disappointment tried to convince you that you had lost your value. But value is not something that fades with time. It is inherent in who you are because I placed it there. You could strip away every title, every role, every achievement, and you would still be priceless to me. I am speaking this over you now so it sinks deep into your spirit, because you're stepping into a season where knowing who you truly are will be vital for the journey ahead. Challenges will come, but they will not shake your foundation when your identity is rooted in my truth. Voices will rise, but they will not drown out my voice when you remember that you are mine. There will be moments when the enemy tries to lure you into comparison, but comparison will lose its power when you walk confidently in the uniqueness I gave you. You are not called to imitate someone else's path. You are called to fulfill the assignment I have placed in your hands, and you can walk into it with boldness because I have equipped you for it. My beloved, you are not fighting for a place at my table. You already have a seat. You are not striving to earn my approval. You already have it. I am lifting off the weight of false identities, the heavy cloak of unworthiness, and replacing it with the royal garment that has been yours all along. You are seen, you are known, and you are celebrated by heaven. When I look at you, I do not see someone barely holding on. I see a child of mine who carries the imprint of my heart. And no matter what the past has told you, no matter what this world has tried to convince you of, the truth remains. You are chosen, you are loved, and you have never been alone. Not for a single heartbeat. Those visions you once carried with excitement, the ones you tucked away in the hidden corners of your heart because they seemed too delayed, too far-fetched, or too damaged to ever happen, are not gone. I have been holding them for you, preserving them in a place where the disappointments of the past could not destroy them completely. You may have assumed they faded away, that time had stolen them from you, but I am telling you now, they were never lost to me. I am breathing into them again, awakening them from the stillness they have been in, and they will rise with more strength than before. What I placed in your heart long ago was not a passing thought. It was a seed from heaven meant to grow in the soil of your faith. Some seasons required that seed to remain unseen because the ground around you was not yet ready to sustain the harvest it would bring. I allowed it to rest, not because I was finished, but because I was preparing you for the weight of what was coming. You have walked through trials that have shaped your character, storms that have deepened your dependence on me, and wilderness seasons that have sharpened your vision. All of it has been preparing you for the moment you are in now. I am restoring the fire you once had, the passion that stirred your heart and kept you awake at night with anticipation. The enemy tried to convince you to bury those desires permanently, to accept a smaller life than the one I designed for you. But I am removing the ashes and revealing the embers that never fully went out. My breath is fanning them into flame again. It is time. The dream will not only be alive, it will be resilient. It will not be easily shaken by delays or opposition, because it will be anchored in a deeper trust than before. I am opening your eyes to see possibilities you stopped looking for and opportunities you once thought had passed you by. I am aligning resources, connections, and timing so that what felt impossible will unfold with undeniable evidence of my hand. You will recognize my fingerprints on every detail, from the smallest provision to the largest breakthrough. Do not be afraid to hope again, even if hope once brought disappointment. This is a new moment, and I am doing a new thing. The pain of the past season will not be repeated. It will serve as the foundation for what is about to bloom. My child, I delight in bringing to life what others declare dead. I am not bound by time or human limitations, and I am not intimidated by how far gone something seems. What I speak into existence cannot be undone by delay. Lift your eyes and prepare to see life where you thought there was only emptiness. The dreams you once set aside will not return in their former state. They will return stronger, richer, and more impactful than you ever imagined. You will walk in them with a confidence you did not have before, knowing that they survived because I kept them alive for you. And when they unfold, you will see that every detour, every season of waiting, every tear was worth it for the fullness of what I am bringing to pass now. Those moments you wish you could erase, the choices you replay in your mind, wondering how different things might have been, are not wasted in my hands. I have seen the weight they have placed on your heart, the way you've carried them as quiet proof that you've disqualified yourself from greater things. But I am telling you now, those very moments are the raw material I am shaping into evidence of my grace. The enemy wanted those failures to be the end of your story, to define you forever, to convince you that you would always be marked by them. Yet here you are, still in my presence, still hearing my voice, because I refuse to let your lowest points be your final chapter. I am weaving redemption into the places you thought could only hold regret. What you see as ruin, I see as a foundation for restoration. My mercy does not just cover the past, it transforms it into a platform from which my glory can be displayed. When others look at your life, they will not see someone crushed by mistakes. They will see someone lifted and renewed by the power of my forgiveness. I am not erasing your past as if it never happened. I am writing its meaning. The very things that once caused you to hang your head will become the stories that cause you to lift it high, because they will speak of my intervention. You will look back and see how my hand was moving, even in the moments you thought I was absent. How I protected you from the full weight of the consequences you might have faced. How I guided you toward change before you even realized you were turning. The lessons you have learned in those valleys are not wasted. They are wisdom that will guide your steps forward and allow you to help others who find themselves in the same places you once stood. My child, You must understand that my ability to redeem is greater than your ability to fail. There is no wrong choice so deep that my love cannot reach it. No mistake so great that my power cannot transform it. The scars you carry will no longer be signs of defeat. They will be marks of survival, proof that you were pulled out of darkness into light. These transformed places will be your testimony, and they will carry a weight that reaches others in ways that perfect lives never could. The authenticity of your journey will speak to hearts that have given up on themselves, showing them that if I could restore you, I can restore them. And as you share, you will feel the final strands of shame fall away, because you will see with clarity what I have been saying all along. You are not defined by what you did, but by what I have done for you. Every regret you have surrendered to me is becoming a story of my faithfulness, and each one will shine with hope. Where there was loss, there will be gain. Where there was weakness, there will be strength. Where there was sorrow, there will be joy. This is what I do. I take what the enemy meant to destroy and turn it into something that builds, inspires, and gives life. You will see your path through a new lens, not as a chain binding you, but as a key that unlocks doors for others to walk in freedom. From this moment on, let your heart rest in the truth that nothing in your history is beyond my reach. I am turning it all into living proof of my mercy and my power. I have not been holding myself at a distance until you reach some imagined standard, nor have I been measuring your worth by flawless performance. I have always known your strengths and your weaknesses, your victories and your struggles, and still I have chosen to remain by your side. I am not here to present you with a list of requirements before you can be close to me. I am here because I love you as you are in this exact moment. Not a future, more polished version of you. Not an edited version that hides the messy parts, but the real you standing here now. My love is not an invitation to earn my approval. It is a declaration that you already have it. I want you to understand that the journey we walk together is not about reaching me at the finish line. It's about walking with me every step along the way. I am as present in your beginnings as I will be in your breakthroughs. When you stumble, I do not recoil. I steady you. When you hesitate, I do not grow impatient. I encourage you forward. My patience with you is unending because I see beyond the moment. You may focus on your flaws, but I see the progress you don't even realize you're making. Every small choice to trust me, every quiet decision to try again, every whispered prayer when you feel too tired to speak much at all. These matter to me more than you know. I am committed to guiding you through every twist in the road, through seasons when the pace feels slow, and through moments when the path seems unclear. I am not concerned by your pace. I am committed to your direction. This is why you never have to fear failing in front of me. I already know the steps you'll take before you take them, and I have made provision for every misstep. The process of walking with me is not about avoiding mistakes. It's about learning to trust that my hand will always be there to help you rise again. You do not need to put your life on hold until you get it all together, because transformation happens while we walk. I am shaping your character as you go, building your strength in the middle of the journey, not after it's complete. There is no moment when you are too much for me to handle. No part of you I am unwilling to engage with. I am invested in your growth, not in an idealized image of perfection that was never my expectation for you in the first place. My desire is to show you what it means to be loved in every season. Loved when you're running, loved when you're crawling, loved when you're standing still trying to figure out the next step. I am here now, not just at the moments you feel worthy. That is what makes my love different from the approval of the world. It does not depend on conditions. So walk with me even in uncertainty. Bring me your questions, your flaws, your unfinished places. We will travel this road together, and with every step, you will see more clearly that I am not looking for perfection. I am looking for closeness. And that closeness begins right here, right now, exactly as you are. Even now, in the quiet moments where your surroundings seem almost too still, I am speaking. My words are not drowned out by the chaos of the world because they carry a weight that no other sound can overpower. The voices of fear, doubt, and distraction have been loud in recent days, all trying to pull your attention in different directions. But my voice slices through them with precision, removing the fog they've created. This stillness is not empty. It is the sacred space where you can hear me with clarity, where I reveal things that get lost in the constant noise. I do not shout over the world's clamor. I speak with a tone your spirit recognizes instantly, a tone that settles unrest and brings your thoughts into alignment with truth. I know how easily confusion can wrap around your mind, twisting what is simple into something tangled, making you question even what you once felt certain about. But my voice unravels those knots one by one until what seemed complicated becomes clear. I am not here to add to your uncertainty. I am here to give direction that steadies you. There is power in knowing that you can trust what I speak, because my words are never careless. They are targeted, intentional, and designed to bring life. I am not afraid of the questions you bring to me. I welcome them because I know that when you bring them into my presence, I can answer them with the wisdom you need. Some answers come quickly, like a light switched on in a dark room. Others unfold slowly, like the sunrise spreading across the horizon. But both carry my timing, and both lead you into peace. The confusion that has been trying to blur your vision is not stronger than my guidance. I am drawing your attention away from the noise that tries to demand urgency and back to the stillness where you can hear me above all else. You do not have to strain to catch my words. I am speaking in a way that is meant to reach you exactly where you are. Every time you choose to quiet the competing voices and turn toward me, you make space for my direction to settle deep within you. And once my words take root, they will not be easily uprooted by the distractions that surround you. My beloved, you will learn to recognize my tone even in the busiest moments, because your spirit will remember what it feels like to be anchored by my voice. This clarity will follow you into decisions, relationships, and situations where others feel lost, but you will walk with a confidence that can only come from hearing me. Right now, I am speaking direction into the places where you have felt unsure. I am addressing the areas where you've been pulled in too many directions, and I am drawing your focus back to the path I've marked for you. Let these words sink in. They are not just for comfort, they are for alignment. I am cutting through the noise, removing the distortions, and leading you into a space where you will not just hear my voice, but follow it without hesitation. This is the kind of connection I desire with you, not one that depends on perfect circumstances, but one that thrives even when the world is loud because you have learned to tune your ear to me. You have been walking through days where the next step felt hidden, where the road ahead seemed shrouded in uncertainty, leaving you to wonder if you were even heading in the right direction. At times, it felt like moving forward was more like walking through a fog. You could sense that there was something beyond, but you could not see far enough to feel secure. I have heard every prayer you have whispered in those moments, asking for guidance, pleading for signs, longing for assurance that you were not wandering aimlessly. And I tell you now, those prayers are being answered. I am lifting the veil that has kept the details from your sight, not because you were lost, but because the timing for your understanding is now. My guidance has been present every step, even when you could not see the full picture. I have been positioning pieces like a master builder, preparing the framework before the walls go up. You could not see the entire structure yet, but every hidden movement has been leading to this season where clarity begins to break through. The direction I am giving you will not come as a vague hint. It will be unmistakable, anchored in peace and confirmed in ways you cannot deny. You will begin to notice doors aligning, conversations confirming what I have been whispering by old wounds. I am able to redeem what seemed beyond repair, to take conversations that once ended in anger and turn them into moments of grace. My child, reconciliation is not just for your benefit. It is also for the testimony it will carry. Others will see that even the most fractured relationships can be mended when I am at the center. They will witness love overcoming pride, humility, replacing defensiveness, and unity taking the place of division. And in that, my name will be glorified. Some of these restorations will be private and personal, known only to those directly involved. Others will be more public, standing as a visible sign of what I can do when hearts yield to me. Either way, the fruit will be the same: peace, healing, and connection where there was once pain. You will no longer carry the heaviness of unresolved tension, because I am lifting it now. I am bringing closure where it is needed, fresh beginnings where there is willingness, and deep healing in every place the enemy tried to sow destruction. Trust that I am working even now to bring about these reconciliations in the perfect way and at the perfect time. And when they happen, you will know it was my hand, because the peace that follows will be unlike anything you could have manufactured on your own. Even as you take in these words, a calm that does not come from human reasoning is beginning to cover you like a gentle yet unshakable shield. The noise of anxious thoughts, the swirling of what-ifs, the constant replaying of past events, and the dread of what tomorrow might bring. These storms have been fierce at times, pulling you in many directions and leaving you drained. But my peace is not fragile, nor is it dependent on perfect circumstances. It is steady, immovable, and anchored in who I am. When I release it into you, it does not simply quiet the surface. It reaches into the deepest currents of your mind, where the unrest has been rooted, and speaks a command that cannot be disobeyed. Be still. I know how often you have tried to talk yourself into calmness, how many times you've tried to push away the thoughts that keep coming back, only to find them returning stronger. But my peace is not something you must manufacture. It is a gift I give freely, and it carries authority over everything that has tried to steal your rest. This peace is not the absence of challenges. It is the presence of assurance that you are held, guided, and surrounded, no matter what rises against you. Right now, I am placing a divine stillness in your thoughts, quieting the voices that have been competing for your attention. The inner battles that made it difficult to focus, to pray, or to simply breathe without tension are being subdued. Where there was restlessness, there will be clarity. Where there was heaviness, there will be lightness. This is not temporary relief. It is a shift that will change how you carry yourself in the days ahead. You will notice that situations which once triggered worry will no longer have the same hold over you. You will respond differently because you will be operating from a place of security instead of fear. My peace is a guard, not just a feeling. It will stand watch over your thoughts and emotions, keeping out the intrusions of despair and panic. This is the peace that surpasses human understanding. It does not make sense to the mind, yet it feels undeniable to the soul. It is not earned, it is received. And as you receive it, you will find your steps becoming steadier, your decisions clearer, your nights more restful. You will discover that even when the winds rise again outside, the stillness inside will remain. My child, the storms within have tried to convince you that you are fragile, but you are stronger than you realize, not because of your own strength, but because of mine working within you. I am calming the chaos now, and as you walk forward, this peace will not fade when the next challenge appears. It will deepen. It will become a constant companion, reminding you with every breath that you are never alone, never unprotected, and never without my covering. Let this peace settle fully into you now, because it is here to stay. For too long, the sharp words of others and the silent withdrawal of their acceptance have pierced you deeper than you've allowed anyone to see. Criticism has echoed in your mind long after it was spoken, and rejection has left marks you've tried to hide beneath strength. But today, I am surrounding your heart with a covering that will not only protect it, it will restore the confidence those wounds tried to steal. This shield is not built from human defenses that harden you or close you off. It is formed from my truth, my love, and my constant affirmation of who you are in me. Where once an insult or cold dismissal could cut into you and linger, my shield will absorb the impact and render it powerless. The false judgments of others will no longer have a home in your thoughts. The moments when someone's rejection made you question your worth will be met with an unshakable awareness that your value comes from me alone. I know every wound you've carried from being misunderstood, overlooked, or unfairly treated. I know the times you've replayed conversations, wishing you had been able to explain yourself or defend your intentions. But with this shield in place, you will no longer feel the need to prove yourself to those who do not see your heart. I will teach you to rest in the knowledge that I see it fully, and that is enough. This protection does not make you cold. It allows you to stay tender without being vulnerable to unnecessary harm. It gives you the freedom to love without the fear of being shattered, to serve without the constant anxiety of how your efforts will be received. The arrows will still be released. They may still fly toward you, but they will fall harmlessly at your feet, unable to reach the place where they once caused damage. My child, you will walk into rooms without the weight of trying to please everyone, because your identity will no longer be up for debate. You will interact with people knowing that their approval is not the foundation of your stability. And you will find that even when rejection comes, it will no longer feel like the collapse of your world. It will simply be a closed door I have not chosen for you to enter. The days of being derailed by someone's opinion are ending. This shield will remain around you as long as you keep your heart close to mine, and it will remind you daily that you are accepted, secure, and loved without condition. From now on, every arrow of criticism will be measured against my truth, and my truth will always stand as your defense. From this point forward, you will begin to see subtle yet undeniable signs that I am placing my favor over every part of your life. It will not be the kind of favor that only appears in obvious blessings. It will be the quiet, consistent hand of my provision shaping your path. You will walk into situations where you would normally expect resistance, yet find a surprising welcome instead. Places where you once had to struggle for recognition will suddenly acknowledge you without explanation. Opportunities you did not apply for will come to you. Conversations will unfold that lead to outcomes far beyond what you imagined. This is what happens when my favor rests on someone. It moves in ways that human effort alone could never produce. It is not about luck, influence, or skill. It is about my hand working on your behalf. I have gone ahead of you into places you have yet to step in, preparing the way so that when you arrive, the atmosphere is already set for your success. Some doors will swing wide without warning, and you will know they opened because I unlocked them. Other times, my favor will act like a shield, closing doors that would have led you away from your true purpose. Either way, every movement is for your good. This covering will not just bring opportunities, it will bring protection from schemes meant to derail you. Where others might face unnecessary setbacks, you will see smooth paths. Where there is confusion for some, you will find clarity. My favor is not seasonal. It is steady, following you into your work, your relationships, your decisions, and even your quiet moments of waiting. It will make your presence stand out in a crowd, not for your glory, but for mine. People will not always be able to explain why they feel drawn to help you, why they want to see you succeed, why they trust you so quickly. But you will know it is because my favor has gone before you. I will align you with the right people at the right time, and you will find that you are in the exact place you need to be without having to force your way there. Even in places where you are unfamiliar or feel unqualified, my covering will speak for you. My child, you are stepping into a time where you will see that I am not only guiding you, I am advocating for you. The things you once had to chase will begin to find you. The efforts you make will bear greater results because my favor will multiply them. And when the world sees these doors opening, you will point them back to me, knowing that none of it happened by accident. This is not a fleeting moment. It is the unfolding of a promise I have been preparing for you. Watch closely in the days ahead, because my favor will not just change your circumstances, it will change the way you walk into every room, knowing you are fully covered by my hand. You have been pressing through a struggle that has tested you on every level, physically, mentally, and spiritually. It has felt relentless at times, like wave after wave with little space to catch your breath. You've prayed, you've stood your ground, and you've continued moving forward, even when it felt like you had little left to give. What you could not see was that the tide has been shifting in your favor, and now you are standing on the edge of a breakthrough. The turning point is not coming one day far from now. It is unfolding in this very season. The momentum is changing because I have stepped into the battle in a way that will be undeniable. The enemy hoped you would grow too weary to stand, but instead, your endurance has positioned you to see my deliverance with your own eyes. You may not yet see the full manifestation of the victory, but it has already begun. The strongholds that have resisted you for so long are weakening. The resistance you've been facing is not a sign that you are losing. It is a sign that the breakthrough is pressing through. And the enemy is reacting because he knows he cannot hold it back much longer. My strategies have been unfolding in ways hidden from you, but every move has been precise. I have been placing people in position, closing the enemy's access points, and surrounding you with heavenly protection. Even in the moments when you felt alone, you were never fighting without reinforcement. Angels have been assigned to guard and assist you, and my spirit has been strengthening you from within. The weight you've been carrying is about to lift in a way that will feel sudden, but it has been the result of steady work I've been doing all along. My child, this turning point is not just about this one battle. It is about the ripple effect it will have on the rest of your life. When I bring you through this, you will carry a testimony that will speak to others still in the fight. You will walk with a new level of faith because you will know that even the fiercest opposition cannot stand against my will. Do not be discouraged if the resistance seems to flare as the victory draws near. That is the sign that the enemy's grip is slipping. Stand firm, because your perseverance is about to be rewarded openly. Soon you will look back and realize that this was the chapter where the story shifted, where the darkness began to retreat, and where the outcome was sealed in your favor. I am declaring over you now, the battle is not endless. The victory is already moving toward you, and nothing will stop it from reaching you. You have been in a season of preparation, sometimes aware of it, other times not realizing how intentionally I have been shaping you for what's ahead. There were moments when you thought the delays were wasted time, but they were actually strengthening you in ways you could not see. I have been equipping you with the wisdom, resilience, and faith needed to walk into the assignments that were set aside for you long before you knew they existed. And now, as the path begins to clear, I am placing within you a courage that is deeper than mere confidence. It is the unshakable assurance that I am with you. This courage is not rooted in the absence of challenges. It is anchored in the certainty that no obstacle can withstand my power at work in you. The same circumstances that once made you hesitate will now be the places where you move forward with boldness. I am replacing the timidity that kept you on the sidelines with a readiness to act when I call. Every past season of waiting, training, and refining has been leading to this point. You are stepping into a chapter that will require you to trust me beyond your comfort zone, but you will not face it alone. My Spirit will go before you, clearing the way, and will walk beside you, ensuring that each step is steady. I am not asking you to figure out every detail before you begin. I am asking you to step forward, knowing I have already gone ahead of you. The fears that once held you back will lose their voice because you will see with clarity that they were built on lies meant to keep you small. My courage will cause you to see opportunities where others see risk, to speak truth where others remain silent, and to stand firm where others retreat. This is not the time to shrink. It is the time to rise into the purpose I have been preparing for you all along. Every skill you have developed, every lesson you have learned, every challenge you have overcome has been shaping you for this moment. I have not been preparing you for something ordinary. I have been preparing you for something that carries eternal significance. When you step into it, you will realize that the weight you feel is not a burden. It is the weight of glory, the responsibility of carrying my light into the places I send you. And as you walk in this courage, doors will open that would have remained closed to hesitation. You will see the fruit of your obedience multiply, impacting lives in ways that will far outlast this season. This moment wasn't random, it was divine. I led you here, not just to comfort you, but to awaken you. What I've started in your heart today, I want to continue. So don't treat this like a one-time encounter. Come back, often, because every time you return, I'll be here, ready to speak again. Subscribe, not to chase content, but to follow my voice. Share this, not just to inspire, but to interrupt someone else's darkness with my light. This space, this channel, it's not entertainment, it's where I meet you, over and over again. So when you're weary, come. When you're hungry, come. When you're ready for more, come. Because I'm not finished speaking, and I'm not finished with you. Amen.